Good evening, parents, and welcome to Books and Blankets, North Hart's Parent Involvement Title I event. I wanted to give you just a few directions for this evening and things that are going to be going on. We do hope that you'll enjoy some hot chocolate and some cookies as you participate in the events tonight. Your number that you got on your ticket will be called to the Media Center for Pictures with Santa. But while you wait for that number to be called, we do hope that you'll participate in the activities here tonight. We do have a video of strategies that will play after this announcement, and this will loop over throughout the night, so if you miss something, you can see it again on another round. Also, we hope that you'll take those strategies and practice them with your children here tonight as you wait for your picture numbers to be called. And if you need a book from the library, you may go to the library and get that as well. After you've practiced those strategies and read your books, we do hope that you will use the iPads at the back of the room to take an accelerated reader test with your child. It's important for you to learn how to do this because this is available to do at home as well. Please, before you leave, when you got here, you received a survey. Before you leave, if you'll please return that to the sign-in desk. We value your feedback so that we can make these events better in the future. Also, if you brought any winter wear items, those can be donated in a box in front of the big Christmas tree in the atrium. So you'll find that box there. If you have any questions, just find a North Hart person to ask and we'll be glad to help you. Thanks for coming to Books and Blankets, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas. Hello, we're here to talk to you about a strategy called Language Experience. And throughout this is great to use with very young kids all the way up to even older students. Language Experience is when you take anything that the child has been involved in, an experience that they've had, and let them tell you about it, and you write the sentences if they're not old enough to write them, and then if they are, then they could write them for themselves. But you take that experience and then you use the sentences that they give you and that they tell you to teach them all about, it could be sight words, sentence structures, paragraph structures, any of those things that your students are ready to work on. You can use Language Experience to practice those strategies with them. All right, Carson, what do you want to write a story about today?
How cold it is outside.
About how cold it is outside? Okay. I have some words here. These are your sight words for before you start kindergarten. So these are some words that we're going to try to put in our story if we can, okay? So let's start the story. What do you want to start with? About our cold day outside. Give me a sentence. Just tell me a story about how cold it is outside.
40 degrees.
40 degrees? You think it's 40 degrees?
Okay,
so do we want to start with today? It was so cold outside. All right. And when we write that, we're going to start with a big capital letter, okay?
T.
That's right. Today, it was so cold outside. Look at that. That's like two words put together, isn't it? Outside. Right?
Yeah.
All right. And what did you say? You think it was less than 40 degrees?
No. How many 40 degrees means more than that?
Okay. So it was...
16. 16.
It felt like 16 degrees.
14, 16.
It felt like 14 degrees. Woo! That's cold, isn't it?
That's how much cold it was.
And the ice, huh? All right.
When it was at school.
All right, let's talk about, was the wind blowing?
No. Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? The trees were blowing this morning, and our The wind was blowing in our face, wasn't it?
It was like this.
Yeah, okay, so let's write, let's see if we can find some words in here to use. Let's say when we, because we is one of your sight words, so when we look, what does that start with? What letter is that?
Y. I mean W.
W. We.
Hey, what? W starts with Y. Yet.
W, yeah. When we came,
I call it Wyatt.
look,
Not.
came inside a big wind blew.
The trees.
Okay. The trees. That's good because look, we is a sight word and the is a sight word. So that's great.
Hey.
All right.
W.
That's right. Very good. Okay. Let's see what else we can use. Let's add. That word is away. So let's say a big wind blew the trees. And the leaves. What did the leaves do?
Fall down.
They blew
Blew away. These are long words.
Yeah, these are long sentences, aren't they? All right. All right, so now we're going to read the story that you wrote, okay? All right, read it with me. Today, it was so cold. Carson and I are reading our story together, and I'm giving him a chance to say the words, and if he doesn't know them, then I will say them and he repeats them. Following this, we look for sight words within the reading, and he just practices reading this several times and then identifying the sight words within the passage that he wrote. Okay, so then you want to take the student's writing and let them read it over and over again. And the point really is not for them to memorize it, but instead to start to recognize those words within a context that they really know a lot about because they actually authored it or wrote it. So with this, you can do a lot of different things. You can see here, I went ahead and underlined and highlighted the sight words that were in here, and there were definitely more than one. And this is just a list I got off of the Dolch sight word list for pre-primer. They have different levels, and my son's in pre-K, so he is at a pre-primer level. From this, you can go through and even cut these sentence strips out or write them on larger sentence strips, and from there they can actually start to learn how to structure a sentence and put a sentence back together, knowing that the capital letter starts at the beginning and the punctuation comes at the end. And definitely if your child likes to draw, they can draw a picture. So we hope that this is a strategy that you can utilize in your home and just make everyday experiences something to learn about.
This year we have a new state test, the Georgia Milestones. To help prepare students in grades 3 through 5, we are using the RACE strategy. This strategy includes 4 steps. The first step is R, to reword the question. The next step is A, to finish the first sentence with your answer. The next step is C, to cite your answer with evidence. And then the last step is E, to explain how the evidence supports your answer. And now we're going to show you an example of one of the strategies we're using in class to help the students to begin by rewording their answer.
In this White's class, we begin working on the RACE strategy by using these restating task cards. To complete the task cards, we have to reread the question first. Then we simply restate the question into the beginning of our topic sentence for our answer. These cards are to get us in the habit for restating a question for every constructive response question that we encounter. For this card, we cross out the words "how are" and rewrite the question as a statement. The two main characters are alike because if this was a real constructive response question, I would finish the sentence to include my answer. Then I would continue my answer by citing 2 to 3 pieces of evidence that would support my answer. The last steps would be to conclude my response by explaining how the evidence supports my answer. One last tip for writing a successful response to the constructive response question is to write the letters R, A, C, and E at the top of your paper and cross them out as you complete each step.